Hello students, welcome to the online lecture series of St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. Myself Satinder Vats, Assistant Professor in ETC Department. Our today's topic is the digital modulation techniques that is amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying and phase shift keying, which is a topic of unit 4th of communication systems in ETC 4th semester. So till now we have seen about the analog modulation techniques, that is amplitude modulation, frequency modulation and phase modulation, in which in analog modulation the message signal and the carrier signal both were in the form of continuous wave signals, that is both are analog signals. And then we saw the pulse analog modulation scheme, in which we used a carrier pulse instead of the analog carrier signal. We used a train of pulse as the carrier and the message was the analog signal. So now this is the third modulation scheme, which is the digital modulation techniques. In this, the digital our information is in the digital form, that is in the form of binary bits 0 and 1, and we will use the carrier as analog signal, that is a continuous wave signal. So basically in this technique we will convert our digital message into analog signal before transmission. So let's see how. So it is an special kind of modulation where the message, that is the modulation signal, is a digital signal, binary or any encoded version. So normally we will use the binary information in the form of 0 and 1, and in this the carrier, that is the wave to be modulated, is usually sinusoidal or analog, having fixed frequency. Okay, so our information is digital, while the carrier we would use in this technique will be analog in nature. Any digital signal or the pulse code modulated signal cannot be transmitted through antenna for long distances. So we cannot transmit the digital information using antenna up to the larger distances. Therefore we will use this modulation technique and we will superimpose our information on the analog signal, so that it can be transmitted through antenna and can be transmitted up to higher distances. Okay, so to transmit such signals through antenna, a high frequency carrier is modulated with the PCM signal, which is a PCM signal would be a digital form of information, which results in three types of modulations. So in digital modulation scheme or technique, we will be having three types of modulations, that is first is amplitude shift keying, second is frequency shift keying, and the third one would be phase shift keying. So in amplitude shift keying, the amplitude of the carrier signal would change according to the message signal. In frequency shift keying, the frequency of the carrier would change according to our message signal, and in the phase shift keying, the phase of the carrier, that is the analog sinusoidal signal, would change according to the phase of the information. Okay, so first of all let's start with the amplitude shift keying. In this modulation technique, that is amplitude shift keying modulation technique, the amplitude of the carrier signal varies with respect to the message signal, that is the amplitude of the message signal. Okay, so this is how we can get a amplitude shift keying modulated wave. If we have the message signal in the form of binary bits, that is 0 1 0 1, or it could be any bit of a string, and if our carrier is this cosine sinusoidal wave, so if we multiply both the information, we would get mt into cos omega ct. Let us understand it with the waveforms. If this is our information 0 1 0 1, that is if 1 is represent the high voltage and 0 represent the low voltage. So 0 1 0 1, this would be our bit of stream or the digital information. If ct is our carrier signal, which is a continuous analog signal, in this case we have used cos omega ct. Now if we multiply both the signals, that is mt and the ct, using a multiplier, we would get the amplitude shift key version of the wave. So as you can see, when the message signal is high, we would get the carrier wave, and if it is 0, the message signal is 0, we would get nothing at this instant. So when the values are high, that is 1, we would get the carrier signal, and when the message signal is 0, we would get nothing over there. So this is how the amplitude of the carrier is depending upon the message or the information. It is also called binary ASK, as we are using only one bit or 0 and 1, but at the one time we are using only one bit to represent our signal, that is 0 or 1. It is also called binary ASK. And also on and off shift keying, as for the on signal, that is for high signal, we are getting the information, and for when the signal is 0, we are getting nothing. So this is how the information would be transmitted. So let's see the bandwidth of ASK. Bandwidth is proportional to the R. R is the baud rate. R is baud rate. So baud rate is nothing but the number of samples per second. There is a difference between bit rate and the baud rate. Baud rate is number of samples per second, whereas bit rate is denoted by R. Bit rate is, or the data rate is, number of bits transmitted per second. So a sample can have number of bits, so baud rate is sample per second, okay, and bit rate is bits per second. So the bandwidth of ASK would depend proportionally to the baud rate, that is the number of samples we are transmitting per second. So there is a proportionality constant 1 plus d into R, where d is the factor for modulation and filtering process. D is the factor for modulation and filtering process. So bandwidth is equal to 1 plus d R, or if we write it in the form of bit rate, it would become 1 plus d into R by n, where n is the number of bits to represent one sample. So as we are representing the sample using one bit only, so n in this case is 1. So 1 plus d into R by n. So d, the value of d can ranges from 0 to 1. 0 for ideal modulation and 1 for worst case modulation. So the bandwidth for ideal modulation would be, if we put d is equal to 0, that is d is equal to 0, we would get bandwidth is equal to R. So bandwidth would be equal to baud rate for ideal modulation, and if we put d is equal to 1, we would get the bandwidth in worst case scenario, which would be 2R. So as the bandwidth is increased, it is the bandwidth is double of the ideal case, so it is the worst case. We need the bandwidth to be small, so that we can transmit our all the information in limited frequency, okay. So this is the bandwidth. Now how the modulation of ASK, that is how we can transmit. So we have already seen this. If this is our information empty in the digital form, we would multiply it with a carrier signal, which we can generate using a local oscillator. and when we multiply both of them we would get mt cos omega t. So for mt is equal to 1, that is positive voltage, and mt is equal to 0 for no voltage. So this is how we would get the signal for mt is equal to 1, and for 0 we would get no signal. So this is the modulation. Now demodulation, in this we can have two detection processes, that is coherent or the synchronous detection, and the non-coherent or non-synchronous. Okay, so in the coherent detection we would require a local oscillator which would generate the same carrier frequency as we have transmitted at the receiver end, so it is a bit costly. Whereas in non-coherent detection we would not require any local oscillator at the receiver end. So this is how we can do the coherent detection, in which this is our mt cos omega t is our received signal. We will multiply it with using a multiplier with the carrier frequency again, and then pass this signal mt cos square omega ct using a low pass filter to get the message signal in the form of 1 and zeros. Whereas in non-coherent detection we use the envelope detector. Okay, so we will feed the received signal mt cos omega ct to the envelope detector, which will give us the required output, that is the digital signal. So in this case cost is low as we are not using the oscillator to generate the carrier frequency again, and but the performance is a little bit poor as we compare to coherent detection. Okay, so application of ASK are broadcasting of digital signals and in optical fiber communication for laser intensity modulation. So these are some of the applications of ASK. Now let's see one numerical. If we are given a bandwidth of 100 kilohertz which spans from 200 to 300 kilohertz. So what are the carrier frequency and the bandwidth bit rate if we modulate the data by using a binary ASK width and d is equal to 1. So we need to calculate the carrier frequency and the bit rate. So we are given the bandwidth, that is 100 kilohertz. So if we have a half duplex system, half duplex means we are transmitting and receiving over the same channel but not simultaneously. If we are transmitting then we cannot receive, if we are receiving then we cannot transmit from the receiver end. So we are doing half duplex communication, whereas for full duplex that means we are using the same channel and we can transmit and receive simultaneously. So if we are take the case of half duplex, then this is the bandwidth, that is 200 to 3 kilohertz as it is given. So carrier frequency would be between the midpoint of this, that is 200 and 300. So carrier frequency would be 250 kilohertz. We are given bandwidth is 100 kilohertz, n is equal to 1 as it is the BASK, binary ASK, and d is equal to 1 is given. So bandwidth is 1 plus d into r, so it comes out to be 100 kilohertz is equal to 2r. So r is equal to, r is the baud rate, 50k samples per second. If now we need to convert it into bit rate or data rate, it would be r into n, that is 50 kilobits per second. Okay, and in full duplex mode there would be two carrier frequencies, one for transmission and one for receiver, as we are transmitting and receiving over the same channel. So we would use 200 and 250, this band for transmission and this band for receiver. So cutoff frequency for transmission would be 225, which is the midpoint of 200 and 250. Similarly for receiver the cutoff frequency would be 275. Okay, and the bitrate would remain the same. Now let's see frequency shift keying. So in this, frequency of the carrier signal varies with respect to the amplitude of message signal. So if this is the message signal we have in the form of digital 0 1 1 1 0 or whatever it is, and we have two carrier frequencies, that is FC1 and FC0. FC0 is greater than FC1. So if one has to be transmitted, I will transmit the FC1, and for 0 I would transmit FC0. So we would transmit two frequencies for two separate signals. So this is how frequency shift keying would work. That is, the frequency of the carrier is changing according to the message. So the waveform we can written as m naught t, that is for 0 bit cos omega c naught t, that is for 0 we are uh, transmitting fc naught frequency, and for m1t, that is the 1, if a message signal is 1, we are transmitting cos omega c1t. So this is the equation. So now let's see the spectrum or the bandwidth of FSK. If this is one FC naught, first frequency FC naught, and this is for the bit 1 FC1, and this is the difference between these frequencies, that is 2 del f, or the frequency deviation, the difference of frequency between the two frequencies. Then bandwidth would be, as the bandwidth for one frequency was 1 plus d into r, as we have seen in the amplitude, because these two if we divide these two frequencies apart, they would become, this one is a part of amplitude shift key and this one again is a part of amplitude shift key. So the total bandwidth of this one part would be 1 plus d into r. Similarly for this part it would be 1 plus d into r. So here we can see, if this is if this part is 2 del f, then the remaining part would become 1 plus d into r. So this is what I have calculated over there. The total bandwidth would be 1 plus dr by 2 plus 1 plus dr by 2 plus 2 del f. So total bandwidth would be 1 plus d r plus 2 del f. So if we need to calculate the minimum bandwidth, so we can make both the frequencies like this. This is fc naught and this is fc1. So del f becomes 0. So if we make this del f 0, the bandwidth would be 2r, that is r for this and r for this, that is 2 into baud rate. Okay, now let's see the frequency shift keying modulation. In this we use two signals, that is for 0 bit and this is for bit 1, and two multipliers, and we will multiply the carrier frequency generated by a local oscillator in both the case, and this is a interleaver or a comparator. Okay, so it will generate 0 for, sorry, in this case it will generate m naught cos omega c naught, and for, if it was 1, it is for 0, it will generate for 1 m1 t plus cos omega ct. So this is the equation of fsk, that is m naught t cos omega c naught t plus m1 t cos omega c1 t, one frequency for 0 and one frequency for the 1. Okay, now we need to demodulate it, that is we need to receive it. So again we can have two detection processes, that is coherent or synchronous or non-coherent. So in coherent we would need carrier frequency at the receiver end also. So we would feed the system our input, that is a frequency shift keying wave, to the multiplier, and would also provide the carrier signal as well at the receiver end, and whatever we get we will pass it through the low pass filter. Okay, and this is the information of zeros and this is the informations of 1, and a comparator is used. If this information is greater, then it would be the information of 1, it would give 1, and if it is less, then it would be 0. So it would compare both the inputs generated from the low pass filter and would give 0 or 1 depending upon the magnitude. Okay, so this is the FSK demodulation using coherent detection, and the second is non-coherent, in which we would not use the local oscillator. So first of all we would feed the signal with the band pass filter, and second from band pass filter with the cutoff frequency omega c1, and this one has the cutoff frequency omega c0. After that they will be fed to envelope detector, and one will produce 0 and 1, and comparator would compare these bits to generate the output MT, which is the digital form 0 1 0 1, whatever it was. Okay, so in non-coherent we would not use the carrier frequency signal, so no local oscillator is required, so it is cost efficient. Whereas in coherent detection we need to use the cos omega naught c, that is the local oscillator again at the receiver end, so which increases the cost. So this is the difference between the coherent and non-coherent detection. Now let's see phase shift keying. In phase shift keying, the phase of the carrier varies according to the amplitude of message signal. Okay, so like if this is our information 1010, which is a polar wave non-returning to 0. Polar wave means for high voltage we are giving 1, and for low voltage, that is the negative, we are representing 0. So it is not 0 means not 0. If the wave is negative we are representing it as 0, which is polar form. That is for negative we are representing 0, for positive voltage we are representing 1. So that is why it is called polar wave not returning to 0 form. Okay, and if this is our carrier cos omega c0, so for 1 there would be the carrier signal would transmit it as it is, and if it is 0, that is for negative voltage, there will be a phase reversal at this point by 180 degree. It is a case of BPSK, that is binary phase shift keying. So in this we have two phase shift versions, that is one is 0 degree and one is 180 degree. This is 0 degree and this one is shifted by 180 degree. 0 180 0 180. So for one there would be a phase shift of 0 degree, and for 0 there would be a phase shift of 180 degree. Okay, so binary phase shift keying, there is a phase shift of 180 degree every time the signal changes from 1 to 0. So every time the signal changes from 1 to 0, there would be a phase shift of 180 degree. Okay, so this is the BPSK in which the number of levels is 2. So n comes out to be 1, and we have two phase differences 0 and 1. If we have quadrature phase shift key, that is L is equal to 4, number of levels are 4, so we would need to represent these level by number of 2 bits, that is 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. So this will represent 0. Okay, this would represent 180, this is 90, and this is 270. So we will have in QPSK we will have 4 phases, and we have 4 combination of inputs, that is 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1, that we will see in the next lecture. So there can be any number of phases. If there are, we have let's say 8 number of phases, then we need to represent these phases by 3 number of bits, that is 0 0 0 to 1 1 1, and the phase can be 0 45 90 135 180 225 270 and 315 degree. Okay, so let's see the modulation of phase shift key. So in this we would use the message signal and the carrier signal and multiply to get the QPSK. So in this we would get plus minus MT cos omega ct. If it is 1, then we will get plus MT cos omega ct, and if it is 0 we would get minus cos omega ct, that is 180 degree phase shift. Okay, for a multi-level PSK we can have MT cos omega ct plus phi. Like if it is a case of QPSK, then it will be MT cos omega ct plus 45, or plus 90 plus 180 and plus, as we have seen, plus 270. 0 90 180 and 270. So this is the demodulation. So non-coherent demodulation is not possible in the PSK, so we have only coherent detection in this case. So the PSK modulated wave and the carrier signal generated from a local oscillator are fed to the multiplier, which would produce YT. So YT would be QPSK phi PSK into cos omega ct. So it would become plus minus mt cos square omega ct, as one cos omega ct is in this and one is in this. So we will multiply. So using the cosine function and expanding it, we get mt by 2 plus minus mt by 2 cos 2 omega ct. So this is the high frequency signal and this is our low frequency message. So we would pass this YT from a low pass filter, which would give us plus minus MT, and by using a comparator we would get 0 and 1, 1 for positive voltage and 0 for negative. So this is the our information MT by 2, which we can receive using a low pass filter, which would filter out this high frequency component. Okay, so there are some of the advantages of PSK. It is better than ASK, and FSK bandwidth is far better than FSK, so it is better in terms of bandwidth. Noise immunity is also better in the PSK. Some of the one disadvantage is this: we cannot detect it using a non-coherent detection. That is, the cost is a bit high for detection. And when comes to application, it is used in digital communication, and it was used in early telephone modems with data rate in the range of 2400 and 4800 bits per second. So in this lecture we saw some of the digital modulation techniques: ASK, FSK and PSK. In next lecture we will see some more techniques for digital modulation. Thank you very much.